Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Fluent English Podcast, the podcast that helps you master English in the most fun and effective way possible. I'm Jenny, your host, and today we're diving into one of the best tools for improving your English quickly. Yes, you guessed it. Podcasts. If you're listening to this, you're already on the right track. But are you using podcasts to their full potential? Well, by the end of this episode, you'll have all the tips and tricks you need to turn your casual listening into a powerful language learning tool. So, get comfortable, grab a notebook if you like, and let's get started. First things first, why are podcasts so great for learning English? Well, let's think about it. Unlike textbooks, they expose you to real-life English, the way people actually speak. You hear natural pronunciation, slang, different accents, and a variety of speech speeds. It's like immersing yourself in an English-speaking world without leaving your home. Plus, they fit right into your lifestyle. You can listen while commuting, cooking, or even working out. It's effortless learning. But here's the thing, just passively listening isn't enough. If you truly want to speed up your English learning, you need to be smart about it. That's what we're going to explore today, how to make every podcast episode count toward your fluency goals. Ready? Let's go! One of the best ways to get started is by choosing the right podcast. I mean, let's be real. If you're listening to something you don't enjoy, you'll probably stop after a few episodes. The key is to pick a topic that excites you. Love crime stories? Try an English language true crime podcast. Interested in self-development? There are plenty of motivational podcasts out there. If you're passionate about the content, you'll be more likely to stick with it. Plus, you'll pick up industry-specific vocabulary along the way. Okay, so you found the perfect podcast. What's next? Well, let's talk about active listening versus passive listening. Passive listening is when you just let the words flow into your ears without paying much attention. It's still helpful, but if you really want to improve, you need to switch to active listening. That means focusing on what's being said, catching new words, and even repeating phrases aloud. Try pausing the podcast and mimicking the speaker's tone and pronunciation. This helps you sound more natural when you speak English yourself. Another powerful technique is re-listening. You might think, why would I listen to the same episode twice? But trust me, there's a huge benefit. The first time, you're getting familiar with the topic. The second time, you'll start noticing details, sentence structures, transitions, and expressions you may have missed. And if you really want to challenge yourself, try listening without subtitles first, then listen again while reading the transcript. This way, you're training both your ears and your eyes. Speaking of transcripts, let's talk about transcribing. This is an advanced technique, but it's one of the best ways to sharpen your listening and writing skills at the same time. Choose a short part of the podcast, listen carefully, and write down what you hear. Then, compare your version with the actual transcript if available. It's a great way to test your understanding and pick up on words you might have missed. So, we've covered choosing the right podcast, active listening, re-listening, and transcribing. But there's one more thing that can make a huge difference. Taking notes. Keep a small notebook or a notes app on your phone and jot down new words and phrases. Don't just write them down, though. Try using them in your daily conversations or writing exercises. That's how you truly absorb new vocabulary. All right, let's take a short break, and when we come back, we'll discuss even more advanced techniques, including using podcasts to improve your speaking skills and how to practice with a friend. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. In the first half of this episode, we talked about some of the fundamental techniques for using podcasts to improve your English, choosing engaging content, active listening, re-listening, transcribing, and taking notes. Now, let's dive even deeper and explore ways to take your learning to the next level. One of the biggest challenges English learners face is speaking confidently. And guess what? Podcasts can help with that too. Here's how. Pick an episode and shadow the speaker. This is called shadowing, and it's one of the most effective techniques for improving pronunciation and fluency. Simply play a sentence, pause, and try to repeat it exactly as the speaker says it. Match their tone, speed, and intonation. It might feel a bit strange at first, but trust me, this is an amazing way to train your mouth to form English sounds naturally. Now, let's make this even more interactive. If you have a language partner, challenge them to an all-podcast discussion session. Here's what you do. Both of you listen to the same podcast episode, take notes, and then discuss it together. Summarize the key points, share your opinions, and even debate if possible. This helps reinforce what you've learned and gives you the chance to practice speaking in a real conversation. Another fun trick is turning podcasts into writing exercises. After listening to an episode, write a short summary in your own words. Or better yet, try rewriting a part of the episode as if you were telling the story yourself. This not only improves your writing skills, but also helps reinforce sentence structures and new vocabulary in a natural way. Now, I know some of you might be wondering, how do I handle difficult podcasts? Maybe the speakers talk too fast, or there are too many unfamiliar words. Well, don't worry. Here's what you can do. First, slow down the playback speed. Most podcast apps have this feature. Second, focus on the general meaning first, not every single word. You don't need to understand everything to benefit from a podcast. And third, if it's really too advanced, try finding a podcast designed for learners. It'll use clearer language and simpler vocabulary to help you build confidence. Finally, let's talk about consistency. The best results come from making podcasts a daily habit. Even just 10 to 15 minutes a day can make a huge difference over time. So, set a goal for yourself, maybe 1 episode per day or 3 per week. The key is to stay consistent and keep challenging yourself with new content. All right, my friends, that brings us to the end of today's episode. I hope these tips have given you practical and exciting ways to use podcasts for faster English learning. Remember, consistency, engagement, and active learning are the keys to success. Try out these techniques and let me know how they work for you. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and share it with fellow learners. Until next time, happy listening and happy learning. Bye for now.